Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and obviously I'm here with just a little bit more of the battle system stuff. I have one big building left to put together. This is the storage barn. So I wanted to go ahead and get this finished up because Car Wars is done. I've just got to edit up some footage from that to get the last video up, which means Bolt Action is getting ready to be on that table, and I've got to have this ready so we can get that going because I'm really looking forward to playing that game and showing you guys all this cool terrain spread across the table. So for our storage barn, we've actually got 3 total sheets, and the first one we're going to need is sheet number 1. We always start with our walls and build our way up. You see there are 8 wall sections on this one. 4 of the smaller walls and then 4 of the bigger walls. So this one is going to be kind of like the townhouse one where the bigger wall section constitutes the second floor. And we'll put that together and then it'll be going on top. But it has some extra pieces with it too, which kind of makes it stand out, which you guys will see here in just a sec. We got floor pieces and then the extra pieces here that make this kind of look like a barn, which you guys will see. These are the 2 floors. I'm not going to worry about the bottom floor level, but we will be needing this piece here in a minute. And then we also have our roof pieces, standard roof pieces like you guys have seen me use in the previous videos. We'll put these to the side because we're not going to need them until we're almost finished with the build. All right, also, if I counted this out correctly, we are going to need 4 of these, the T-shaped connectors. We are going to need 2 of the straight connectors, and then 7 of the elbow connectors. So if you're doing this with me, go ahead and have those set to the side and ready to go. We're not going to need this piece just yet. We'll set that to the side. Go ahead and punch out our wall pieces here. And these are a little bit different. Some buildings have some special pieces to them that do come into play. So we need to take notice of where we're setting those pieces. And I'll show you guys that here right now. So these are our shorter wall pieces. These are our bigger wall pieces. You guys can see, just like we've done on the other ones, there's a inside and outside. So this is our outside for our upper level, that little red barn look to it. But the inside matches the inside on the lower pieces. So make sure you line these up correctly. Now, for the lower pieces, we've got 2 of them that are shaped like this, that have these little extra support doohickeys. That's just decorative. It's not actually support for it on them. So make sure those are across from each other. And the big reason for that is because these pieces need to be across from each other. And if you notice, there's a couple of different notches here, and that has to do with where the building, the second level, is going to be set on top. So you want to have these across from each other and these across from each other when you're putting it together. You can go ahead and punch your windows and your doors if you want to. I generally don't worry about that aspect of it. So let's go ahead and grab our elbows and get these put together. All right, so for our bottom pieces, we're using the elbows. Real easy, same as we put it together before, but just in case you guys have not seen one of my previous, make sure you just push it on there nice and straight and be cognizant of how far you're pushing it on and that you line it up so you're not trapezoidal when you're doing your other walls. So we'll put this one like this, make sure we're outside to outside and line that up. Put another one here, get our back piece on, line it up. And again, I'm not worrying about my windows or doors right now, but it isn't hard to punch those out later if you decide to do so. It's real easy to do, so not a big deal either way. All right, and put these on and we'll slide in our last wall piece here. Notch it in, just a quick little bend. Since these are cardboard, it does it really well. All right, just like that, we got our bottom level, okay? You guys can see we're all set up. We're lined up across from each other. These pieces are across, and then these notches are across. So we'll treat this little door as our entranceway, kind of like our front. Okay, so we can set that to the side for the sec, because now we've got to put together our upper floor. Now this one is specific as well, where we're putting some of the pieces. I'm going to take this big double door, right? So you can push this open. I'm going to leave it closed for now, just for a little bit of extra sturdy rigidity when I'm pushing the pieces together, just to have them in there. And we're going to put this door to the right. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm matching Battlesystems video, just in case you are following along with them. That way everything matches up, because they do have their own videos as well. Now here, different from what we did before, we are going to be using these T pieces. So we're going to treat them like the elbows, with the exception that with these, the front and back is where you want to have that pointing out. So if we're treating this like our front, okay, so you want to have the two end pieces that are sticking out here and here, and then on the back side as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get these put together. And it's not hugely a big deal with these pieces on where the door goes, the side door or the windows. It's not a huge deal. You can put it on a different side if you want to. All right, let's put this on. And remember, like I said, we can get it on there just a little bit better. Show you guys, this one's sticking just a little bit. All right, this is the back side. So as you're looking down on it, you want that extra bit of hook, front and back. That's the direction that it's pointing out, okay? So we'll keep putting these on and making our upper level. And then we're going to get the floor piece and put it on. That way we'll have something to put down and balance this upper floor onto the bottom. All right, and make sure we got our pieces set up right, inside and outside, that we're matched up, and then push these together. Bam. Make sure we're all nice and snug and good to go. Boom, just like that. First floor, upper floor, got our doors, we're good to go. Now we do need to grab out our floor piece. For the upper level, that's going to be this one. It does have the little hatch right in here. Okay. Now, if you remember earlier when I was listing out the components you needed, something that was different is the fact that you needed only 7 or 3 of the elbows for this top level. And the reason that comes into play is because of these big double doors. There is no notch here. If they put a notch here, there would be nothing to connect to. So when you're putting this on, right, you're not going to have an elbow there connecting it. You're only going to connect it on these 3 sides. So we can put these on, start with your floor, and you can put your little hatch wherever you want to. It's not a big deal. If you have a specific place you would like to put it, you're more than welcome to do so. And we'll throw this one here and this one here. Give ourselves just like that, okay? And then we're going to slide this piece. There's a notch in the center of each one of these that's going to line up over top of these elbows that we just plugged in. And you just have to get it set up at the right point on all of them at the same time, and it'll slide right down on top of it, just like this. All right, come on, get on there. Oh, am I missing the hole? I think I'm missing the hole. Yep, I'm missing the hole. Get on there. All right, give me 1 sec. There we go. So just like that, we are in there, and I'm poking out a little bit on this one because I don't have an elbow piece to help kind of suck this one in. And like I said before, as you put these pieces together, you'll notice sometimes that they don't fit perfectly snug, that there's a little kink to it. Sometimes you got to just adjust it tweak the pieces a little bit to get them all set up. It's not a big deal to go back over it later and make sure you got them right. I did kind of bend that piece a little bit, which you guys can see there as I was coming on it, but it's nothing that a little bit of glue can't handle. And this is what I was talking about, making sure that you're not trapezoidal, because you guys can see if you are, it'll give you little kinks. But we are good for the most part, and now you can see why there are those notches. Those notches are for this back piece right here, because this is going to sit on top, but it's not going to sit on top flush. So like our townhouse was flush, one side like down the middle, this one's not going to be that way. All right, it's going to be either to the left or to the right, and the notches will show you which ones to go with. And that's not lining up for me. There we go. So try to go where you've got the overhang, where you've got that extra door, because that's where you can put a ladder or a set of stairs later on. But right here, we're good. We're set up as we need to be, but this is where we come into the extra barn pieces. All right, so I lowered the camera down just a little bit again. That way I can try to give you the best possible view of what I've got going on over here. So let's slide this out of the way and get our barn doohickey pieces. And that is going to be these here that say beam. You're gonna have 4 total of those, 2 smaller ones and 2 bigger ones. Those are 2 smaller ones. And you see here are another 2 beams, and these are the bigger ones. These are gonna go on the front of our building. All right, so as you're looking at it, you're gonna have 2 just like this, 2 just like this. Then you're going to have this arch and then this winch all go together as part of the barn type facade for the front of it. So let's poke these pieces out and get it to come out. There we go. Now this looks kind of like it, but this is actually a set of stairs that we can put together later. And I'll show you guys how that goes together when we do the little scatter type terrain. Okay, so I got all my pieces punched out, the little notches going, and we don't need the entire building right now. We just need this top floor. This is our back side that we're looking at here, and if you look at these pieces, they have little notches on them as well. They are going to slot in right here at the back, and that's what we needed these T-pieces for, right? Instead of the usual elbows that you would normally put there. So you're going to put those on just like that, kind of giving this legs in a way. Same thing here. We've got notches here at the front, and that's where we're going to put these. And let's get this last one put on here. Push her on, and there you go. Boom. Just like that, our little upper floor is standing on its own. When it's standing on its own, you can tell you've done it the right way and you're doing good. That leaves us with this elbow and this little winch looking piece. So we need to wiggle this through. As you're looking at this, there's one side that is kind of shorter. See how this hangs down? And this one has a little notch already in it. This needs to go in this direction, okay? So it's going to be, this is front of building. Our arch is going to be here, all right? Now the one set that we haven't put on yet, and I should have probably actually have done this earlier, is the elbow or the angle pieces for our roof. And we have to put these on before. Now our roof is our last piece that we'll actually put onto this. But this is where the little winch is going to attach to. So we've got our 2 pieces here. Now you notice if you've seen other buildings that these are different in the fact that they've got notches here at the top. Usually this is just a solid piece. Instead, there's this little notch here. Zoom in so you guys can see that. that's where the the little crane goes into. So you're going to grab out your little straight pieces, just like we've used before. Now, when you're putting here and you're on your double doors, be real careful. Just go down slow, take your time with it, hold it there at the top here, right? Not the doors, and just push her down until she's snug, but just be real gentle because you don't want to bend this piece where the doors are. All right. Even if you've got just a little bit of a gap there, it's fine. It's not a big deal. At the end of the day, it's all going to look good. You don't want to bend it when you try to like force it on there. These pieces are designed to go together. So if you're having to fight to get the piece on, you're doing something wrong. I'm going to get my fat hand out of the way. Our last straight piece used to put that on. So there you go. You see we've got our angle for our roof. This is our front side here, and we've got our little spider barn going, as I like to think of it. Now we get to come back to this piece, and I'm actually going to turn this around and do it this way. And it's just me being anal. But you know how when you have a punch board piece that there's the smoother side of it, the front where it's punched out. So I always think of, the other side as the back. And I want the back on this side. I'm kind of quirky that way. What can I say? Now, when we're doing this, let me bring this in close so you guys can see this. You see there's a notch here, okay? There's one on each side, and then there's this notch. As you're doing this, that's where these notches on the side are going to go here, and this notch is going to go in the center. And I actually think I'm going to open that up just a bit because you guys can see mine's actually a little snug. So give me 1 second. Since I end up gluing my pieces, I don't worry if I, make it just a little bit too loose, but I would rather it be a little too loose than a little too tight. So that's just me. That's not anything that Battlesystems is saying. I don't want you guys to be like, hey, I saw Gimpy do this, blame Battlesystems or something. This is my idea. All right, so do it slow. Let me raise the camera just a bit. And forgive my other buildings in the background. So we're coming in here at the sides, and we're coming here at the top. You got to get going a little bit at the top, and it will allow you to start sliding these in, and you just keep going back and forth, back and forth. And remember, all you've got holding it here is this one little plastic straight piece. So you want to be easy, all right? There's no rush to this. No one's in a hurry. Just take your time. And that is snug. I might pull that back out and loosen her up just a little bit. Because like I said, I'd rather it be a little bit too loose than a little bit too snug. And when I'm hitting... Oh, there we go. We're starting to get somewhere. Let's see if I can get this back around because she swung around on me. All right, come on. Get in there. Don't make me pull him back out. Get on there. Get on there. Get on there. There we go. All right. Get in that right spot. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now I think we're going. You guys can hear as I'm pushing that down that that's snug. And I still haven't got to where I'm pushing that down just yet. Come on. And like I said, I'm taking my time because I want to be careful with this. And the thing of it is this arch, this angle is supposed to line up with this angle when you're done. So that's how you can tell if you've gone far enough. There we go. All right, do it just a little bit. All right, pull, pull, pull. Come on, baby. Get started, because once you're started, we're pretty well good to go. We'll be notched in everywhere we need to be. There we go. I think we're good. And that roof. So we got to come down a little bit more there. And pull there. And pull here. Pull there. And I'm trying to be very careful because I'm bending this little bit of wood here, this little bit where it's not connected. All right, so as you guys can see, we're almost there. We're close. This piece is the hardest piece of this one. So take your time with it. You're not in a rush. There you go. Come on, just a little bit. Come on down for Gimpy. I might fast forward a little bit through this so you guys don't have to watch me fight it. I am just a hair's breadth. I want to come down just a little bit more. All right. I am about as close as I can get. So if it's sticking up a little bit, I can shave it down. I'm not going to worry about bending the pieces too much, but that is ultimately what you're looking for. So you want to have that little winch, I can never say that right, hanging out right over there, and you're good. And then this piece can obviously, like I said, go on top right here, just like that. And you see how you're sticking out a little bit over on this side where you can have a ladder or staircase going down. And just like that, we're almost done with the building. Now we just got to get our roof put together just like normal. We're going to have our two big roof pieces. And you'll notice that this one's a little bit oddly shaped compared to some of the others that we've done. It's flat here on the back, but it's got this arch here on the front. This is definitely the front side. It's going to give a nice overhang to all that wood that's hanging off. So let's grab these out, and they always punch out nice and easy. Come on, there we go. We're going to need this piece here, this long one. This ties everything together when it comes to the roof. And then we're going to need our two roof clips here as well. And we'll punch those out. And I'll put this to the side. So when we're ready for our roof, you'll have two of these, one of these long ones, and then two of these. Make sure when you're bending your roof that with this piece, this is the outside, the shingles, you just give it a little bend, just a little hair's breadth, right? You barely need it to curve, just a little bit of a smile there. You can always come back and bend this a little more, but you can't come back and unbend it. Just keep that in mind when you're bending it. And I think they said they gave the roof like quarter cuts. I might be mistaken there. Now, I pointed this out before, but they purposely designed the roof to be tight and snug. You can see that right there, especially how snug that clip is. And for me personally, I like to loosen these up just a little bit because I found that I've had trouble with the roofs before. And again, this is me. This is my advice. This is not their advice. They recommend doing it a different way. You can try my way if you have trouble with it. But I like to come in with something that's just a hair's breadth thicker. I find my pocket knife works well for this. And I just come in with a tip and push down just to widen it out, just a bit. It's a half millimeter difference that you want in there just to make it a little bit easier when you're doing this, because you're having to apply pressure to something that has bends in it. And you want to be easy when you're doing that, because like this one you can tell is definitely very snug compared to that one. That one's got a good cut in it, but this one does not. This one I might actually shave down with the X-Acto blade, because that one's real snug. And you can do the same thing with your clips if you think that they're a little too tight as well, because you don't want to be fighting against the piece as you're putting it together. So you just give myself just that little bit extra room, makes it go together just a little bit easier. And I find it works a little better for me to not bend a piece if I don't have to fight against it. All right, almost there. We'll loosen these up just a little bit as well, just to make it a little easier on myself. Now, when you're doing these roof pieces, you always want to put the clips onto one piece first and then come back and do the other roof piece. So let's get this one started. And I found with these, they'll get caught on this bottom side. So almost push it down like that as you're pushing it on to get her to go on there. Yeah, and this one is snug. I might have to loosen that up just a bit. Hold on. I have to keep remembering I'm doing this on camera. All right, almost there. Okay, perfect. That's looking pretty good right there. But you guys see how much force I had to apply to that clip to get it on there. All right, and this front one I do believe will go on just a little bit easier. It wasn't as snug. Yeah, just like that. Boom. And I think we're pretty well good here. All right, remember our archways go towards the front, all right? So the rounded pieces, make sure you're going together, and these things are only going to go on one specific way. And I did curve this a little bit as I went on with it. Got to try to keep it straight, which I find can be a little bit of a problem if the clips are too tight. All right, start them at the same time, and then you want to just walk it back and forth and keep applying your pressure until you get her on there. All right, back one's going on easy, front one's being a pain. Of course it is. They're going to be pains in different directions. There we go. So we're looking good. We got our roof. And with this, you'll notice that it has 2 notches that are going to line up with our 2 clips. All right, so just like this, right? And you simply have to apply a little bit of pressure. And these are snug too. Look at that. That is way snug. I'm going to trim that down real quick. All right, so I opened it up just a little bit, see if that's going to help. And remember, it's yours, right? You can always glue it back if you mess it up a little bit. It's not a huge deal. You don't have to follow my rules specifically. If you find something that works for you, go for it. And this is kind of like applying the roof. I always find it easier to try to apply the pressure from underneath rather than come at it from the side. But yeah, this one is still a little snug. I might have to do that one. Yeah, I'm going to trim that one up off camera just so I don't waste a whole bunch of time. But when you're done, it'll snug up just like that. I'm going to come back and trim that one out just a little bit. But to show you guys, just so I don't hold you guys up waiting on me to trim that one, because it could take a little bit of time. And just like so, we've got a barn piece. And doesn't that look good right there on the table? I mean, look at that. Nice barn. It'll have an open door, little staircase coming out of it. You can open up these 2 front doors here, put some scatter terrain around it, and it's just going to look freaking phenomenal on the table. And even with me explaining it and screwing up a little bit as I was putting it together, this one was a little bit more of a pain in the butt than some of the others. Things like the townhouse, they go together real easy just because it's a few boxes you got to put together. The more special attributes it has, stuff like this or a different shaped roof, that's going to make it take a little bit more time. It's just part of the process. But you end up coming out with an awesome looking building. I mean, you can see how much shade, even it's blocking off all my light that's coming in from up above right now. But it looks just so good here on the table. And it's going to look great with bolt action. And the guys, I can just see it right now. I've got a couple of Marines up on the 2nd level, crouched down, firing their rifles out. You know, maybe a couple coming down the stairs, shooting out, trying to take over the building. It's just going to be great. I've been thinking about the rules for the windows. The single windows, only a single shooter could get out, but these double windows over here on the side, a couple of guys would be able to line up there to get a shot out, stuff like that, you know? But again, just to pan up and show you guys, it doesn't take long to put it all together. You guys can see I've got most of it put together. I've got one more little piece that I've got to do, and then a bunch of scatter. And I've got what, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big buildings. And I'm going to have a couple of small little box-shaped buildings that I'm going to show you in the next video. And it does not take too long to put it together. And it all looks just freaking great on the table. You'll have a whole village that you can lay out in a short period of time. You can put all this together in an evening and be gaming with a nice looking tabletop. A neoprene mat like this, different one, there's multiple ones out there. A little bit of shrubbery that you can get from like a train shop or stuff like that. Mixed around, a little bit of the fencing that comes with this kit, all laid out, and bam, just like that, you've got one hell of a terrain set up that did not take barely any time to get going. You see what I mean? I mean, it just looks great. I got to give them props for it. I love this stuff. Love this stuff. All right, but you guys stay tuned. I will do the last little video showing the little outhouse building, which won't take too long, and then show you a few pieces of the scatter terrain like tables, chairs, bookcases, stuff like that, that you can put together to use inside the buildings or outside the buildings, just wherever you feel up to using it. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.